How you doing, Bobby?
Doing fine.
Fantastic. Good to hear. I know you obviously booked a call. You were in our inner circle program and you're possibly looking to get some extra help, some more help, or either like renewing your program so we can get you to the level that you really want to be at master sales, right?
Right. Yeah.
Cool. I know you were giving me some context yesterday about your situation, obviously what you're doing now, where you're trying to get to. I know we couldn't make the most use out of the program in the inner circle, and we were possibly looking to renew to get the most use out of it moving forward, right?
I'm not really interested in spending any more money because I got $15,000. By the time I get through paying this thing, it'll be $15,000.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And,
I guess like
and
that's well, I guess it just depends on what way you really view it, right? Because again, I'm not even sure if it makes sense for you to spend more money. Like, I need to understand more about your situation. But apart from that, it's like what's actually going to put us in the best position to make sure that we don't have to worry about money is like learning the skills, or is it just doing nothing?
probably learning the skills, but
Right.
I sure don't want to spend any more money.
Look,
If it,
who does? Whoever wants to wake up and spend money. I don't think anybody does, right? But
right.
it's sometimes not about like what we want to do, it's just what we need to do. What's actually going to put us in the best position to hit our goal. Remind me again though, like when you came in the program, like how much were you looking to make per month?
Well, I'd like to be out to how much income I'd like to have a month.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm retired. I've got some income. It's not like I'm destitute, but you know, $4,000 or $5,000 more a month, something like that. Even more if it's possible. But I'm retired, and I don't want to sit in front of a computer all day long talking to people because I am retired.
yeah,
If you understand what I'm saying, when I get up and go somewhere, I want to get up and go. And I
yeah,
don't. If I wanted to do that, I would never retire.
yeah, yeah. And that makes sense. And like what does that even do for you though? Like rather than just putting more zeros in your bank account, $4 or $5,000 a month extra.
Well, it just adds to my net worth, I guess you might say.
But
I
net worth is
want
just numbers, right? When we all pass away, numbers don't really matter. It's mostly about what we do with it. So like for you, what are you really looking to do with the investment itself?
Well, really, I like to leave more for my wife, so she won't. I don't want my wife to go waiting tables at a restaurant because she doesn't have enough money to.
Yeah,
I think she'll be all right, but I
yeah,
mean, I like to, as long as I have a breath in my body, I like to do something to provide for my family.
yeah,
And if you want to get up and buy something or go somewhere that's nice, like on a nice vacation somewhere, do
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Not having to worry about having to dig into your retirement savings. I guess that's the whole point, not dig into
yeah.
your retirement savings,
Exactly
but
right. Yeah.
work enough to make enough money to get to do those extra things.
100%. And I appreciate you for sharing that. It's more about like what's going to put us in the best position in terms of like learning the skills to put ourselves in a position where we don't have to worry about retirement savings because we learned the skills itself. Because we have people in you're in insurance, aren't you?
Right.
Like we have people in your industry like that are doing 70, 50 grand a month. So like I guess is 5 grand like the humble goal or is that like the actual goal for you?
That'd be a humble goal.
Okay.
If you could make more, that'd be fine.
Like ideally, what would you want to make like per month?
Well, I mean, 10, 20,000 a month, something like that. That would
20,000.
be a
Okay.
reasonable
That
amount. I know a lot of agents, or a lot of med agents making that much money. At least you see
I,
them
yeah.
on video saying they're making that much money.
There's a lot of them, trust me, right? Like we trained them ourselves, so we know their numbers. I guess like for you though, what do you really feel like you need in terms of training to get your skill set up to a point where you can actually start making 10, 20, 30 grand a month?
Well, I was telling you a little bit yesterday, I believe it was. I was in that car dealership yesterday, and it's noisy as all get out, and I didn't feel like I could talk to you
Yeah.
that well there because it's so noisy. But uh, you know, probably I started out selling this. I've always wanted to sell final expense insurance.
Yeah.
And of course, now because of COVID, I was always used to going to somebody's house, sitting out at the
Yeah.
kitchen table. And then everything changed, and
Yeah.
it seemed like the pattern is to be selling
Online.
online
Yeah, yeah,
now,
yeah.
and that's
Exactly.
fine. You're dealing with somebody that you really can't see. And I don't. I'm an old country boy. I'm used to just sitting down with somebody and
Yeah.
talking to them.
Sure.
And but overcoming. probably overcome the objections.
Yeah, yeah,
You call some of these people up that you're buying leads
yeah,
paying a lot of money for leads, and I've got about $24,000 worth of debt on my
yeah,
credit card
yeah,
for buying all these leads, and I wasn't very successful at talking to these people.
yeah,
And the thing that was aggravating was you'd call the lead up and they'd say, I never responded on
yeah.
Facebook about anything. I don't know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
You know,
And
you get that.
that's typically where people come because a lot of people run into that, right? Because it's like if we don't have the skills and we just put the money, like regardless, the money has to go into leads. And if we don't have the skills to deal with the leads, we're just gonna end up losing money regardless. So what's actually gonna put us in a better position? I'm sure that's why you came to us in the first place, right? But walk me through like your last 6 months. Like why do you feel like you weren't able to make use of the program? What caused that?
2 hours of your time was out of the day was on meetings. And if Lasting Mark had a meeting, you had a meeting with them for an hour. So
Yeah,
usually on meeting 3 hours a day. Well, that didn't leave you much time to
yeah,
get on there and sell something, which means if you wanted to put the time in, you'd be 5, 6, 7 o'clock at night
yeah.
trying to. That's why I retired, so I wouldn't have to be working
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
long,
That's
you
very true.
know?
Yeah, yeah, and I get you're saying that. I guess like because what most of our like successful clients do is they don't attend like 5 hours a day of coaching. They end up going to maybe 1 hour a day, and then they get the value that way. Sorry, I need to sneeze. But they
That's
get the
right.
value that way, right? So it's like they get the coaching and they attend one maybe a day or even one every 2 days and do like 3 hours of coaching per week. And because they have Jeremy Miner himself applying everything to your industry, a guy who's made over $33 million in commissions, you just get it way quicker. And that's why people end up getting back to the inner circle and getting the training and putting themselves in that position. Now, when it comes to you implementing 3 hours a day, if we were able to create you a game plan that made sense for you, where you knew the times that you were implementing every week, what hours you needed to allocate. Is 3 hours a week, is that impossible for you to do?
No, it wouldn't be impossible.
For you though, would you say you're committed to doing everything necessary? Not only to get better sales, right? But for you to make 20 grand a month and truly leave your wife with everything that she desires.
Okay. All right.
Is that something you say you're committed to?
Well, if it didn't cost any more money, I might. But
Well, I guess
I got my mind made up. I'm just not going to spend any more money.
I'd give it to you for 10,700.
Yeah, that's a lot of money when I hadn't got anything out of it to start with. It's my fault. I'm not blaming y'all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's my fault for not pursuing it.
Yeah.
But I really didn't feel like I had time when I was with this Dana
Yeah.
Nissan, whatever her name was. They had so many meetings all the time. Then you had to get on there. If you didn't get on there and use your leads, you were just wasting money on your leads if you wasn't
Yeah,
going to get on there and call them
of
in a
course.
timely manner. And
But like
so,
if you invest 800 extra bucks a month and that got you to a place where you're making 20 grand a month, would it be worth it then though?
well, look, it would if you knew you was going to make that.
Yeah.
It would. But I mean, it's
It's the hardest part, right? It's like we don't know and we'll never know. We'll have that. It's like you saying, "Hey, if I go to Harvard, am I guaranteed a job?" Yeah, it's very likely. There's a huge high percentage of people that come in here and get the result, but you can't guarantee someone that they're going to get a result if they do something, right? Because
right.
can you guarantee me you're going to implement the skills we're teaching you? Probably not, right? So it's the same thing where there's always two types of people: the people who let that uncertainty overcome them, or the people who overcome that uncertainty. Because it's
Right.
like it's really like we're on a bridge, right? It's like the way I like to view it. It's like on one side of the bridge is where we are now. We have a payment that is due every single month that we have to pay regardless, right? Regardless of
Right.
what happens. And now we have to start paying for leads. And if we don't have the skills, we keep losing money and throwing into leads. So the money is going to go somewhere regardless. Where if you learn the skills, you can start paying less for leads, closing at a higher percentage, making more money so we can put ourselves in a better position. The hardest part is just taking that step because there's always the uncertainty of if it's going to work. The question is, regardless of that, though, like, are you committed to doing everything necessary to put ourselves in the best positions moving forward?
I think I'm gonna pass on that. After I pay y'all off, I might want to start over.
So, like, does what I mentioned, does that sound like something impossible for you to do?
It'd be a little tight right now because I'm trying to pay off these bills from the
Yeah.
lead system that I had. And I'm not blaming the lead system. A lot of people, agents was blame the lead system.
Yeah.
And I know it was probably uh, something on my part. Uh, I was based in the P&C business, and I sold my insurance agency, sold some life alone, not much, but in the P&C business, people come to you for insuring a house and a car
Yeah, yeah,
for one reason. That's because the mortgage company makes them to come up there.
yeah,
You got to have a good reputation to get to their business,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
they respect you and I'm gonna pass on it because if I do it the way you're talking about, I've already paid in $8,750. Then you're talking about paying uh 1,600 or actually, yeah, $1,650 more a month for 12 more months. That's another 19,800. That's $28,500 that I'd be paying all total after the new 12-month period.
Yeah, well, it depends what way you look at it. Because if we do nothing and we continue down the route that we have gone on, like, what do you actually feel like would even change?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to be. Uh, I'll be out of debt by then. By the time I get the 24,000 paid off from the credit card
Sure.
on there.
But
Actually, I'm trying to
how,
double up.
how do we plan on doing that without having the skills and always having to invest in leads?
Yeah. Right now I can pay off the credit card in 12 months. I'm putting $2,000 a month toward the credit card. I just don't want to extend myself out any more money on that credit card and having to
Sure.
pay money on there. I just don't want to do it no more.
Why it's less about what we want to do and what's actually going to put us in the best position to get to 20 grand a month. Because how important is that goal for you?
Well, the question is, am I going to get to $20,000 a month? Is there a
Yeah.
guarantee? I
I
mean,
guess
can y'all put,
you
could
tell me.
y'all,
So if Bobby, if out of 34,000 people have came in here and got their result, what makes you so different to them?
well, y'all can say 34,000 people, but how many people didn't go through it because they couldn't do it and
Because
didn't
they
couldn't
didn't
make it?
follow the example, primary example number one yourself when you didn't go through it. The people who don't go through it, I guarantee you they don't get the result. The question is, are you going to show up? Are you going to be committed to showing up 3 hours a week, putting in the effort so you can get to a point where you make 20 grand a month, you put yourself and your family in the position that you want to be in. But at the end of the day, it's like not what we want to do. It's sometimes what we need to do to put ourselves in the positions that we want to. You have a bad taste because you didn't go through the program. But again, we both know that that was nobody else's responsibility but yourself. The
Right.
question, knowing that that happened, what are we going to do? Are we going to be the person who says, oh, that happened. I don't want to spend any more money? Or are you going to be the person who says, yes, that happened, but now I'm going to take accountability, responsibility, and put myself in the best position moving forward so I can change me and my family's life?
Yeah.
What person
I
are you?
think I understand what you're talking about, but I just don't want to put any more on my plate that I have to pay money back on right now till I get some of my debt down. I just don't. I mean, that's just logical thinking right there on my part, and I think anybody else would think the same
I
thing.
think
You don't
logical.
want to add debt, you want to get rid of debt.
Well, how is it logical when we don't have the skills necessary to make more money to get rid of the debt? Because once you start making 20 grand a month, would you not start getting rid of that? Like people, so don't pay this for 12 months. People end up in 2 to 3 months having a big commission check and just paying it off in full. You know?
Well, that's true. I mean, if they got some big commission checks, they could pay it off. But
Why don't we again, I wouldn't tell you to do something that's not going to help you. It's like with your clients. Like when you're trying to help them overcome their concern, you're not doing it to them, you're doing it for them, right? Because you
yeah,
want them to get the insurance, you want them to be secure, and you don't want them to lose out. Same thing here. I don't want you to go down the path that I see so many insurance go down by. They put themselves in a huge amount of debt buying leads because they don't have the skills to close enough leads. Or if you close one out of two, it's better than you calling 100 people and implementing so much time. It's not just about the time because think about it this way. When you're having to call 100 people, you also start getting burnt out. Your energy starts shifting. When you're calling 100 people and getting 100 declines, how many times are you like, oh, this again, this again, this again? And your
yeah.
energy is now flowing to the other person. Because again, we're not and we don't have the skills.
Well, I'll go ahead and do it. It's against my better judgment, uh, but it's a matter of commitment on my part too. And that was the problem before. I didn't commit myself to y'all's program, and I'll go ahead and try it uh, for for the time I guess it'd be the 1250 deal or
Yep.
whatever it was. I lost that on my screen. You may have to send me another link to get
Yeah,
what
sure.
on there. Let's see. Wait a minute here.